Okay, so the last couple days have been absolutely insane. So we're going to talk about current frustrations. Alright, so I was going to talk about, when I talked about current frustrations, my job and how it's frustrating and how I'm worried that I'm losing my soul and all this stuff. But instead, I'm going to talk about how ridiculously terrible the last few days have been, as far as complications with film stuff and everything else. Alright, so as you're aware, I have been trying to work on putting together a stop-motion Lego movie, which is kind of a ridiculous thing to do. Now, the video editing program I have, Pinnacle Studio, allows it so that if I hook up a camcorder to it, I can use a stop-motion capture function so that if my computer's looking through my camera, I can just click a button on my computer and it'll take the frame and it'll put everything into nice stop-motion clips for me. So anyway, this function has worked fine for the cameras that I've had so far. Now, I was trying to upgrade to a better camcorder because the one that I have is kind of old and it seemed like it wasn't doing a good job of focusing on small things, and I generally just kind of wanted a new camcorder. As I said, it is kind of old, so I was trying to replace it with something better. So we went to Best Buy, and I had been looking at a camcorder that was about $250. Now, as soon as we're talking to the salesperson, they pretty much tell us flat out that the 251 was discontinued because it has all sorts of problems with it. So the next one up is even more expensive, and then there's even a more expensive one than that, and then there's like a super expensive one that's amazing. So after much deliberation between the two that were above the one that we were looking at, we ended up getting the lower priced one. And actually, after buying it, I went back the next day, and I was trying to get this bundle package that it was supposed to have with it, and I found out that it was on sale for $100 cheaper. So I ended up saving even more money. So then the next day I was all busy. That was Sunday. And then Monday, I was really excited. I was going to use the camera to do my video, and I was going to play with it with Lego stuff to practice, and it was going to be amazing. And then I go to plug in my camcorder to my computer, and it can only plug into the USB slot, which is fine because my current computer only has a USB slot. My old camcorder was connecting through FireWire, and my new computer doesn't have that. And so I had to connect to my older computer, which doesn't run very well, and it was all sorts of stress to do these videos. So, the advantage was great. And then I found out, after connecting it to USB, that it doesn't read like a camcorder, or at least not like the old camcorders that I'm used to. And after all, why should it? Because after all, it's essentially just storing the data on the camcorder instead of on a tape. So in order to get to the data, it just transfers like a USB drive as opposed to, something where I have to play a tape, like my old camcorder. So my computer can't see through my camcorder because USB isn't a powerful enough connection to do that. So it wasn't going to do what I wanted it to do, which meant that I also couldn't do the stop motion stuff with it, which is really annoying. So then we were looking at, well, maybe if there was a camcorder that had a remote, that might work, because none of the camcorders that exist right now in any way are something other than USB, so they're nothing that can be seen by my computer. So we were like, well, maybe if it has a remote, we can just use the remote function to take pictures and then still use the video function to do anything that's in motion, and everything will be fine. Well, the one that I got didn't have a remote. The one step above it didn't have a remote. The ones any steps below that might have had remotes, but they were only the ones that we were told pretty much didn't work very well. The super expensive one, that was amazing, had a remote. Now, when we talked to them at the store before, when we'd been looking at the different cameras, they had the super expensive one, and they priced us a price because they had an open stock one of it, and they priced us a price that was pretty decent. I mean, it still was much higher than the other two camcorders, but it was a decent price. And so, we thought about today we were going to go get it, and so we were going to swap the cameras. So the new one that we bought, we were going to swap for the even better one. And I went over after work to meet up with my mom, who was helping me with the whole process, and she said that she had talked to the store manager and they would not honor the price that they told us before, which is very problematic. And she was on the phone with like the customer service department and all sorts of stuff. So increasingly frustrated with all of this process. Furthermore, I got home and I was going to record this video. I was going to do it with my old camcorder on my old computer, like I have been doing every week so far. And for whatever reason, my old computer is not working today. It is running super slow and can't decide to do anything. So all in all, it's very frustrating. And I'm sorry if I rambled on for way too much time. My computer's not telling me how much time I've talked for right now, but I'm hoping that it wasn't too long. Anyway, I will see you all later this week. Hopefully your weeks are somewhat less frustrating than mine, or will make my frustration seem trivial. Alright, see you next time.